Welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We cover what's happening in our local area when it comes to sports. We'll discuss last night's high school football games. Then we take a deep dive into today's upcoming college football games. And now, it's the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz with Randy and Clifford.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz.
Yes, sir.
We're live on Blab TV, and
Welcome
we appreciate all of y'all joining us today. This is the best time of year. It finally feels like not just football.
Yes, it does.
But football weather as well.
Absolutely.
And, of course, the baseball playoffs are going on. We've got hoops and hockey right around the corner. The high school sports, there's volleyball and soccer, too. And it's a great time of year. We're looking forward to a great show with us. Remember our call-in number if you'd like to participate in the show. We're going to be live in segments 1 and 2. We've got a great interview in segment 3, and we're going to talk about more college football at the end of the show. That number, 850 number, is 484-1223, 850-484-1223.
And you can call anytime.
Anytime. So, Randy, tell them about what's expected.
Well, we got a great
show
show today, Cliff. It's going to be a fantastic. We'll break down our picks at the end of the show. Most of the college football stuff, we'll run those down, what we think and who wins and who loses on today. Also, Ask the Experts. We're joined by Auburn's Brad Law. Great interview we had with Brad yesterday and some stuff that people are talking about at Auburn. So we'll do that. Also, our Deep South Pigskin, we'll go over some games. The games in our area that people have the most concern for, we'll break those down as well. And then coming up next, Coach Ryan Anka joins us here on set and talk about his big win last night, of course, down at Wahoo Stadium. And we'll break down the rest of the high school games as well. We'll do that. And again, your phone calls, 850-484-1223. We're coming right back. You're watching the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz right here.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Do Works Sports.
Mic check, 1, 2,
My name is
3,
Gary
4,
Parker.
5, 6.
I served as a
Perfect.
Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in. Great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
The Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
And welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz this morning. We're joined on set by Coach Ryan Anka from Washington, and what a win we had last night. We'll talk about that here in a bit and get into it. Not as close as the score shows, the final score. Cliff, we have a phone call.
We might as well get to it. Looks like we've got Addie on the line. Sounds like she's on her way to the Florida game. Addie, can you hear us?
I can. We just touched down in Gainesville, headed to the swamp.
Awesome. Good deal. So I saw the picture of a bus, so I guess that was post the airport. Cool. And of course,
It
go
was
ahead.
actually a plane.
Oh, wow. It looked super comfortable. So that's awesome. So tell us, what's your take on the game? I know that you're a huge Gator fan as well as being a graduate and working with the university in your spare time. What do you expect today against this stout Texas defense for your Gators?
Well, we do have a sold-out stadium, which we're super excited about, even though we're not doing so great at the beginning of the season.
You're right. And, of course, DJ Lagway was a Heisman candidate early on. I know you're hoping to see good things out of him today.
What I understand is that, do we still have a 6.5-point spread?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
that's correct, yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, it's going to be a sold-out stadium. You know how it sounds when the Gators are ready to go. We're ready for a win, and with the Texas coming to see us, we're super excited. I feel good about it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. Today's going to be the true test, I think, for Arch Manning. He has never played in an environment like the Swamp. And so this is going to be a big test for him. And he being a Heisman Trophy candidate early on in the season, I don't really know if he's really proved that, he is what we thought he was.
I'm going to ask Ryan what he thinks. But first, before we let you go, Addie, do you have a score prediction for us?
I'm going to say 32 Gators,
Okay.
24 Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looks like the offenses are going to get past those stout defenses of the Gators and the Longhorns. Thanks for calling, Addie. Good luck. Go Gators.
You're welcome. Go Gators!
Go. Awesome. What do you think, Ryan, on your Gators?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a great environment to play in, and like you said, Arch Manning's first big test. I think low-scoring game. I could see like a 20-17, something like that.
That's
kind of
under
final.
the under, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely could
41.
see that. Yeah, because I don't know if Arch Manning is exactly ready, but it's hard to have that much confidence in Florida's offense right now. But go with the home dogs. And the pick 'em there. I would say Florida maybe gets the upset at home. So
That's awesome. Yeah. It's great to have a caller on the ground. Looks like we have another caller, actually. Let's see here. Looks like Craig Smith. Craig, where are you at, Craig?
Good morning, Cliff. I'm in Tuscaloosa on the set of game day.
On the set of game day. Are you wearing your crimson?
I am wearing my black and gold of Vandy.
All right. Tell us what you think about the Vanderbilt quarterback and Vanderbilt's chances in this game.
Well, Diego Pavia is a game changer. He brings a level of confidence, swagger, whatever you want to call it, that no one's ever brought to Vandy football before. And just happy that he's had another year to be on the field for us. He's performing at the best he's played so far.
Vanderbilt's been putting up a lot of points, and Alabama has been having trouble running the ball. So what are your thoughts on that?
After last week's performance, Ty Simpson at Georgia, clearly Alabama's offense is clicking. Jam Miller's back. Vandy's offense is clicking. Both offensive coordinators, Tim Beck for Vandy, Ryan Grubb for Alabama, are really good coordinators. So I think the key is going to be the defense of both teams. If either team can get the other to limited possessions, that's going to be key. And the other thing is going to be the turnover battle. As you know, Alabama has not turned the ball over yet this year. So Vandy's going to have to force a couple of turnovers, I think, in Bryant Denny to win. But I think we can do it. Our defense kind of had a little bit of a letdown against Utah State last week, but I think they were looking ahead. So much improved defense. We actually have depth, especially at linebacker and on the defensive line that we've not had in years. So I look for a great competitive game.
All right, Craig, thanks so much. We appreciate you joining us. It's going to be a great environment today in Tuscaloosa. Enjoy yourself, and hopefully your Vandy program comes out with a win today. We'll see. Alabama's rolling, though. Thanks again, Craig. Appreciate it. Now to our
anchor down.
Yep, exactly. So high school. What a
Oh,
great,
I love getting the callers.
yeah.
Let's get to our high school game of the week.
Yeah.
Last night at Blue Wahoo Stadium. It was awesome. I got a picture with
What was the
Kazoo.
experience like playing there? Have you played there
man.
before?
Yeah, so we actually were blessed to play in the inaugural game 2 years ago. Great atmosphere. I mean, talk about the backdrop there. You're seeing some clips right now. Just that setting is pretty unique and special. Here, we thought we'd get a safety there. Kind of got a bad bounce, but it's the way it rolls.
You can tell they put the field goals up just this week, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here's the George kid. Man, he was electric. His footwork early on,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's special with the ball, and their quarterback is right here on this scramble play. I've lived this rent-free in my head for a couple times.
Here's the dump down.
Yeah. So, but
What a spin move to get into the end zone.
yeah, the quarterback, they call him Sandlot because he keeps plays alive,
Yeah.
playing on Sandlot, which is fitting for the environment we played in right there with a little bit of dirt you see. So, just first half, too many self-inflicted things, gave them short
They
fields.
scored twice on 2 turnovers to take the lead.
And then we got smart and started to handing it to that guy, number 2.
That's
Deshaun
Deshaun Bohannon. He's a beast. 5'11", 200 pounds. Nobody wanted any of them on that run.
Yeah, and then there's Gianni Lewis, our stud wide receiver, making some plays happen. And then a little bit more dose of the Bo-dozer, as we call him. So,
The Bo-dozer.
Yeah, hard-running kid. So really excited about him. He's a senior that's just been injury-plagued and is finally, paying off there. He's working his tail
Now, were
off.
your guys pretty excited about the opportunity to play there?
Yeah, no, it was real special. They're fired up to go in the locker room, get to see, a big league, minor league, but a big league to them locker room, and just the setting was cool. The lights flickering, kind of like a college, when teams score and stuff like that. So that was neat, and the fans weren't on top of you, but you definitely felt the energy there. You could hear the crowd, the roar, and like I said, the breeze there. It's really neat. The field is a little different, so you got to adjust to that. Just call it what it is.
One of the field goals, as we could see, was a little wonky. So when you scored on that end zone that was down there towards Studer Cove, you had to walk back to the west to kick the extra point or go for 2.
Well, they gave you the option. You could kick it if you want, but you lose your football because it goes into the bay.
in the
So it's a
that's
donation.
Right.
So did you want to donate the football to the bay? Probably not. So we always chose to go the opposite way. So
y'all moved to 4-2.
Yep, 4-2. Yep.
You got another district game coming up.
Yeah, huge game. Senior night for us. We'll host Pine Forest High School next week. So we enjoyed that last night. Now I already started watching some film on Pine Forest this morning, and just on to that. For us, we win. That secures our spot in the playoffs. So we're really fired up about that. The kids are too, and we just know how special that'll be for us and our program, and where we're headed. So.
And I know PHS looking for their second win still. A big game coming up
They
this
looked
week.
good last night, though.
Yeah, they do. Coach Wade McKinney does a great job with them. Their biggest thing is consistency. They've had a lot of coaching turnover, and he gives them that stability that they need. They're young this year too. They're going to be better, but we're young this year. So I really like where our program is heading to.
The PHS is struggling. Just to give Wade a lot of credit for what he is doing there. I mean, they had 36 guys dressed out. They got 10 seniors. Only 5 of them play. And kind of had to start all over with helmets and jerseys. As everybody knows, it's an IB program, so half of those kids aren't involved with sports, but it puts them in a different classification, and a lot of the rest of the kids come from inside the city, or might not have as many resources at home, so it's a very difficult game for Coach Wade.
Yeah,
right?
it is, and numbers all around, unfortunately, are kind of down a little bit with football, so you're not having these huge teams and everything, so people are having to adjust. And just the type of kids each school pulls, varies and changes with the times. So you just got to be able to adapt with what you got. But they definitely have a lot of talent still at PHS, and I know they'll continue to put up a good product as the years go. But just extremely proud of our guys. We got that 14-0 hole, and then we score 30 unanswered. Really shows the testament, and the grit of our teams. And that's what I just told them at halftime, just how proud I was that they didn't fold in that moment, because sometimes that moment can become too big. And in the past, that maybe has been the case for us, and our kids were ready to go and fired up.
So as a Wildcat, I was happy to see it.
Yeah,
we got a lot of PHS lines as well, so it was a special night. We had some other games in the area we'll get to real quick, Randy.
Yeah, we did. We got Destin and Catholic. That That was an unbelievable. Catholic wins. Destin, that's kind of a startup program too, so you got to give them a little leeway there. Catholic wins it 49-0. You guys, of course, 30-20 was the final score out at Blue Wahoo Stadium. Escambia Navarre. Escambia ends up winning that one 29-13. Navarre's struggling a little bit this year. They fielded some really good teams in the past.
Oh, there's a pick-off number 3 of the year for Roy Jones Jr.'s son, Royzen Jones. Yeah. And then there was Jacob Bishop with a pick 6 as well to open the scoring for Navarre. And then, of course, Escambia pulls that one out 29-13.
Gulf Breeze struggling a little bit. They go down 35-6 to West Florida. Pace at Madison County, probably a tough test for Pace, but they ended up pulling it out 20-18. I mean, they've got a good football team this year.
Yeah, and Madison County is historically great.
Defending champion in rural.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a tough test. You look at the big school, small school, it's not always the case, especially with a Madison County team. So.
Yeah.
Pace Strickenberger getting on the board again for the Pace Patriots. We think we may have Coach Vance Smith of Pace in with us next week.
He's here with us next week. We'll talk about that game and how his program's doing. A couple other scores: Choctaw over South Walton, 38-6. Pine Forest, Crestview. Crestview gets the win. Who played Pace the week before.
Crestview's had a tough schedule. They're just getting their second win, but they are a good football team.
Yeah, 33-8 final score. Sneeds and Bluntstown. Bluntstown pulls it out in a big way, 58-6.
Bluntstown is a force to be reckoned with.
Yep. Lincoln and Gadsden City. Gadsden City 31-21. And then also Northview and Baker. Baker pulls it out barely 22-19.
They stay undefeated as they beat Northview in that rivalry game. That was a come-from-behind win for the Gators.
Yeah, which was a good one. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So. Thanks. I guess you'll join us again at the end of the program. We'll talk about all the big games that are going on this weekend, including your Gators and Texas in the Swamp. Should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we'll take this.
Yeah, you can call in, of course, and join us for the next segment as well, or towards the end as we go over our top 25 pick'ems. That number again is 850-484-1223.
And we'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back and we'll break down some of the schools around our local area in college football. So we look forward to that. Again, feel free to give us a call. We're coming right back on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz.
Achieving my goals as an adult was challenging without a high school diploma. With the help of an adult education center, I finished my high school diploma and it changed my life.
This yearbook is a testament to your accomplishments and how they have impacted all of us.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now, I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. My service never stops.
Hey, welcome back to the the edge of sports. Here we are at the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. live on Blab at 9 a.m. right here. You can call us to participate in the show. That number again is 850-484-1223. Right now, we're going to break down some of the 4 biggest games that we think are going on today in college football. And this is one of those days, another day in October, where you just love college football.
It's going to start and go all day long today. So it's going to be some great matchups. And one, I guess, that we're all kind of talking about here is, of course, the Florida and Texas. Texas going down to Gainesville, and it's going to be an interesting game today.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Texas and Florida, we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
The Texas defense is number 2 in the country. They're only allowing 7.5 points a game. The Gators' defense is pretty stout, too, to see if they can stop. Marcel Reed, the quarterback, is kind of a Heisman candidate for the Longhorns, and see if Florida's defense can stop them and stay in the game.
Yeah, so, I just expect a defensive battle, field position battle, how special teams, maybe a play like that can flip a game. You expect 2 defenses to kind of slug it out. So, unless a crazy turnover or something happens, it's probably low scoring, like I said earlier, but that's the kind of game that it feels like it, will be in store.
How big are the turnovers going to be? Now they started calling interceptions are now called doing the lag.
Well, I think there's a couple of things you need to look at. One is turnovers, and how is Texas going to respond to a sold-out Swamp?
Is this the biggest test for Archie Manning?
I think it is.
Without a doubt. The Swamp's nothing like. We had Craig Smith on from LSU. Remember the play-by-play guy? And he said, "Yeah, I just went to Death Valley at Clemson, but there's nothing like the Swamp."
Yeah, it's a top-tier environment. For sure.
I think that's certainly going to affect a big part of the game today. And I think this is a must-win for Florida. I think if Florida doesn't win this game, it's going to change the entire momentum of the rest of the season. And this is a perfect opportunity for Florida to take one.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is, and like you said, it may result in a coaching change. If it goes completely the other way.
Right.
Everyone's been hearing those rumors at Florida, and I think he hears it too. So.
I think a lot of people like Billy Napier.
They do.
And want him to do well. Mm-hmm. I think that's and if he gets this win today, I think he sways a majority of the fans back over on his side.
Oh yeah, a top 10 upset definitely will do that for you. So.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to try. Florida's going to try to stop the running back Tim Wisner, the wide receiver Ryan Wingo. Right. But I think Archie, the quarterbacks are the X factors. You go whichever one can bust out the big runs, get the extra first down, keep the drive going. Keep the defense on the field and on their heels. Yep. I think it's up to the quarterbacks
but Florida's got
and
to
their
score.
Execution.
Florida has to score.
Well, that's a big component of winning the game. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Points.
Defense is defense, and I understand that, but you gotta. If you don't score points, you can't win. So I think Florida's made some hiccups this year as far as missed opportunities, and so they got to clean that up. And I think they're in much better shape. We got a call. You want to take that?
Right, and we'll give you our picks on these games in the last segment. Remember, you can call in 850-484-1223. We'll do our best to try to work you into the show. Like we are right now, we've got a caller on. Chris Cobb is calling to talk about football. I believe he was a midshipman once or twice. Chris, how you doing this Saturday?
Hey, Cliff. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Go Navy, beat Army.
Go Navy, beat Army. But today they're playing Air Force, right? And they are a huge favorite. Let's see, that is, well, you know what it is. It's 10.5. They're a score and a half. Let's talk a little bit about if you know anything about the running game versus the passing game, that usually Navy doesn't have a passing game.
Yeah, so, obviously, I graduated back in 2009, and, even back then we were doing the triple option. We maybe passed once or twice this season, and it was probably on like a 3rd and long or a 4th and long, some desperation movement. But now we've already got 3 passing touchdowns because both the dual threat quarterback, Blake Horvath and Braxton Woodson, they can both throw. And we have a receiver, Heidenreich, that can receive, and he can run as well too. So it's really cool to see Navy be able to, threaten both on the ground and in the air this year. It's great.
So it's a double-headed quarterback for Navy that's 3-0. That game, of course, is 11 a.m. on CBS if you want to catch that. But with Horvath and Woodson, how do you game plan for that? So what do you think the score will be for your game today that's up there at Indianapolis?
I think it's going to be 35-14. I think we're going to jump out early. Air Force is going to try to crawl its way back in, maybe get a late touchdown, and we're going to be in command of the whole game. We're home. we're 4-0. We got a lot of momentum. Air Force has had a tough season. I mean, they've had a lot of close losses to teams recently. So, I mean, that could either mean one or two things, right? They're either going to come out really swinging because it's a rivalry game, or they're just, they're going to be defeated. I mean, it's a rivalry game, so they'll probably get up for it, but I think I still like Navy 35-14. I think you're going to see some exciting long runs for touchdowns. You might see Tezka, who's our running back, fullback, break away for 60, 80-yard touchdown. That's what I'm thinking.
Fantastic. Chris, thanks for calling. Good luck. Like you said, go Navy, beat Air Force, beat Army.
That's right. Go Navy, beat Army, beat Air Force. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you
Chris,
again.
thank
Air
you.
Force, Army, of course, at UAB today. And that game also at 11 on ESPNU.
Yeah.
Well, I guess back to our big three games. Let's go to the Miami and Florida State game.
Woo! That is going to be a game. That is probably going to be the second biggest test that Miami's had all year. Of course, their first one right out of the gate, in Miami against Notre Dame, a team that we thought was going to be good, and they were.
Well, they are. The quarterback's coming on, and
Well, they've had a couple of losses,
and not even Notre Dame was able to get 100 yards on the Hurricanes, who have not allowed.
Their defense is strong.
Right. They're one of the top three defenses in the country.
I think it's going to be, probably advantage FSU as a home game. That's going to be that place will be rocking today too, and so that's going to be the struggle, for Miami as to the crowd. But man, I'm telling you, Miami's offense looks great, defense looks great. I think it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest test, like you said, going on the road. How do they handle that environment? It'll be rocking. Is it the scene too big? Miami's back. That's what everyone's saying. But are they really? A game like this will really let us see. Yeah, how that defense always travels, but how's that offense look?
And that defensive line, and their offensive line, of course, for the Miami Hurricanes, but the defensive line is long and fast, and they can pursue.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain, if people don't know Ruben Bain yet, Ruben Bain Jr., the end defensive lineman for the Hurricanes, they'll know him by the end of the day. He's the most explosive player so far in defense in this football season.
Well, last weekend we had an opportunity to talk to Gino Torretta and ask him what he thought about whether or not this is Miami's best team in a long time, and he agreed, yes, it is. If I had to take a guess at it, I mean, I'm leaning Miami. It's going to be a battle. It'll be a tough test for them just because of the rivalry, if not anything else.
How exciting that we've had the play-by-play guy for Florida State and for Miami and the Heisman Trophy winner, Gino Torretta. So pretty exciting.
Yeah.
The Heisman Trophy winner, it's Texas A&M's had a couple. A&M hosting Mississippi State Bully Bulldogs, who are also like 4-1.
They're 4-1, yeah.
A&M 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah. I think that spread's a little high, personally. Mississippi State very easily could have won last week, right? To Tennessee, they fall late. I think that game's a lot closer than people think.
Best team that they fielded since Mike Leach. I mean, they really have. I haven't kept up with them much this year, and then I look down and say, oh wow, they're 4-1 after losing to a good Tennessee team. I mean, it looks like Mississippi State's starting to roll a little bit.
And they had a pretty rough season last year, but it's similar to Florida State's season. I mentioned Marcel Reed. I may have misspoke with A&M's quarterback. And he's got weapons, 2 running backs and Moss and Owens, 2 wide receivers and Craver and Casey Concepcion. We'll see if Mississippi State can stick it out. It's at College Station, the home of the original 12th fan. That's a loud place, too.
12th man.
12th man. Yeah.
What did I say?
12th fan.
Oh, yeah, the 12th fan.
Seattle,
they got more
right?
than 12 fans up there.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll be a good game. So we'll see. I think it'll be a tough battle. Turnovers will be important. Alabama Vandy.
That was great.
That's going to be an unbelievable environment in Tuscaloosa.
We already know it is.
Alabama stumbles out of the gate and loses to Florida State, and fans were not happy at all. But they reeled off 3 wins now, and the Alabama fans are back to chirping in the ear again. All of a sudden they've got some momentum. They've got they got some things to feel good about, And it's going to be a tough environment in Tuscaloosa. That's my thought.
Yeah, as a Vandy fan, Craig Smith called from game day in Tuscaloosa already. Ty Simpson yet to turn the ball over. He is playing like an elite quarterback, like
Heisman.
one that was drafted out of high school to be elite. He is a blue chipper,
right?
And he's in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think the tide is turning for Alabama, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely looking like a top-tier program again. And, I think that environment, like you said, will be a good test for Vandy. Vandy's got a, 7th-year quarterback, so they should be ready for it. But I think Alabama's got more than enough in the tank.
I was listening to an interview the other day with one of the players from Alabama. After that Florida State loss, they said that the head coach at Alabama's demeanor totally changed.
Yep.
Before he was, happy-go-lucky. They
Mr.
said,
Nice Guy.
Yeah, nice, but no longer is he the nice guy. He's turned Sabanese, and is a different coach. And I think they needed that.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for every mood and attitude, and I think they figured that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Kalen DeBoer's Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
There's going to be a great game this afternoon at 2:30.
Yeah.
Remember, you can join us in our final segment when we do our college picks. We'll come back to these 4 games and 6 more. We'll pick 10 games. About a quarter of the top to the top of the hour, and we'll be right back here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz with Randy and Ryan Anka. But first, here's Brad Law from Auburn, the play-by-play guy, and we'll see y'all on the other side of this break for that.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
Dear moms and dads, we know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas. Everything I do it for you. Mom, love you all. No, it's true. Everything I do it for
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Hey, welcome back. We're live on Blab. This is a Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. Want to thank real quick, you saw some of the clips earlier in the show from the high school games. Got to thank Dante Shepard of Do Work Sports. Please check out Do Work Sports on Facebook. They're going to announce their YESB award ceremony that's coming up later this fall. So please, thank you, Dante. Check out his website, Do Work Sports. The call-in number, of course, when we're doing our pick'em in the next segment is 850-484-1223. Yesterday, we were able to catch up with the play-by-play guy for the Auburn Tigers, Brad Law. We'll go to that now.
And good morning from the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We are joined by the Director of Broadcast Operations for the Auburn Sports Properties. It's Brad Law, a good friend of mine. Brad, glad to have you on the program this morning.
Good to be here, guys. War Eagle to the Auburn fans watching. Glad to be on the Blitz.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, Brad. Hey, I want to start out with a hot topic that's going on right now. Bruce Pearl, who's had unbelievable success at Auburn with the basketball program, he's decided to retire, and his son Steven is going to take over that position for him. Thoughts on how all that kind of came down, and your thoughts for the future of Auburn basketball?
Yeah, there is no way in the time that we have to probably fully appreciate everything that Bruce Pearl did for this basketball program. Took till his fourth year to have a sustained measure of success and win championships and those things. But on day one, he immediately sort of immersed himself in Auburn's culture, in the community, and he celebrated everything Auburn. He gave us the Everything School moniker and really did celebrate as if he graduated from the place. And, you know, that kind of thing on top of, or maybe in conjunction with, 2 Final Fours and multiple regular season championships, a couple of SEC tournament championships. You know, he took the Auburn job and made it maybe the worst in the SEC, took it from, rather, being the worst in the SEC to one of the top programs nationally. Auburn's the only SEC school with 2 Final Fours in the last decade. And now his top assistant, Stephen Pearl, the associate head coach, who knows the roots, who knows how it has been done, and has led a lot of the film sessions and practices and game plans and so on and so forth. Now he gets to take over, and he's behind the wheel. So I think there's a lot of enthusiasm about it. It's an excellent roster, and he has said, Stephen has said, that the expectations don't change. He understands the expectations, and we're looking forward to seeing that play out here this coming season.
Hey, Brad, Cliff Early here. Thanks for joining us today. You said he's immersed himself in the Auburn culture, not necessarily being a guy. Is he going to stick around? Is he going to keep his house where it is? And is he going to continue to jump up on tables? Have you ever taken your shirt off to fire up the students like he has?
That's a lot of questions, Cliff. That's a lot of questions in a short amount of time. No, let me start with the last one. No, I never have, and no, I never will, because that would elicit, I think, the wrong response from the fan base if I tried to do that. Bruce has said he's not going to be taking his shirt off anymore. He's going to enjoy his retirement, but he's also said that he's not going away. He had considered a Senate run, but he decided not to do that. And so he's going to stick around and, as he termed it, be Auburn's senator. And he was in College Station for the Texas A&M football game last Saturday. And he's going to be around and just be a big supporter of Auburn. That's his plan.
Brad, has he mentioned anything about the possibility of involving himself in politics? He's made some comments here the last year or so that would tend to lead people to believe that that's why he stepped down. Any possibility of him getting into the political arena?
I don't know about the future, but we know that he addressed it in his farewell video to the Auburn family, that he considered that Senate run this year, this time around,
right?
But decided against it. So who knows? You know, it'd be probably wouldn't be wise to speculate what happens years down the road, but we know that that was not the reason that he stepped away this year.
Brad, with him stepping away, now he's going to be one of those rock stars on campus, right? And he's got the coaching tree is now a tree with Todd Golden at Florida and his son at Alabama. But what is it like walking around when you've got the rock stars on campus, when Bo is there, you know, and Charles is there, and Coach Smith is there? You know, it's kind of exciting.
No, that's great. You know, Auburn's history and Auburn's roots go very, very deep. And he's one of those guys. Bruce is one of those guys who loves being around. He loves interacting with the Auburn family. It was nothing to see Bruce go into, you know, the engineering school and talk to students in classes there, and go to the student union and buy everybody Chick-fil-A or pizza and just kind of hang out. And he was doing that in the early days of the program, but he was also doing that in year 10 and year 11. So I don't think that's going to change. And we got a lot of people around here that love being a part of the community. We have an expression that if you love Auburn, Auburn will love you back. And we see that in a lot of ways.
Brad Law joins us this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. Brad, let's kind of transition over to football since it is football season. A couple of real close ones and some disappointment. What are your thoughts on the overall program so far?
Yeah, glad that this Saturday is the bye Saturday. Like this is the bye week. The open date is coming at a perfect time. Auburn has started the season with 3 of its first 5 games on the road. Its 3 toughest games so far have been on the road, and they're 3-2. And their 2 losses are to 2 top 8 teams on the road by 1 score. So, the margin for error is really, really slim when you get into the SEC and everybody has good players and everybody has elite facilities and everybody has good coaches.
Yep.
Games are going to come down to 1 play here or there, 2 plays, 2 calls here or there. The defense the last 2 games has performed better than the offense. And so I think fans are hoping that this open date and the practices within it have given the coaches an opportunity to kind of fine-tune now. You have 5 games of data. You can see what worked and what didn't work, and you can see tendencies. You can self-scout. You can get ahead of the scouting reports for the rest of the year, and you can see what needs to change from an offensive perspective, not necessarily for the whole year, because those first 3 games, including the 2-touchdown win at Baylor, where Auburn ran the ball really effectively. I think you had 48 combined carries between the quarterback and the 2 top running backs. That's as far back as you have to go to find a successful, cohesive, efficient, effective offense. Didn't see that in these last 2 ball games. So, whether it's fatigue from 3 road games in 5 weeks or trying to adjust the nuts and bolts on the offense just a little bit, I think fans are hoping that's how this open date week has been used.
Okay, Brad, so the defense is in decent shape. It's a top 20 defense as far as points per game and rushing yards. But on the offensive side, trying to get Jackson Arnold, who is just an elite talent, to be able to improve his pocket presence while you're running the ball with the RPO. How do you get the ball into Cam Coleman's hands and Singleton and get those other wide receivers into the game?
It's a great question. How do you improve your passing opportunities for your receivers? I think they had a lot more success against Baylor doing that than they did against Texas A&M or Oklahoma. I don't know how much better the SEC defenses are than the Baylor defense. I don't know. But I know that Auburn ran the ball effectively. Again, they committed to it. They didn't stop. Hugh Freeze talked after the Baylor game in his press conference about how difficult it was not to call more passing plays. But he didn't, and Auburn ran effectively, and that opens things up in the passing game. So that's kind of where I go with that. Is there's no question that Auburn has one of the top receiving rooms in the SEC from a personnel perspective. Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton and Malcolm Simmons. The loss of Horatio Fields hurts with his injury, but those top 3 are as good as any other top 3 in the SEC. And when you're it's never a black and white. It's never like a linear issue. It's not just as easy as how do you get them open. The running game also plays into that. Offensive line execution. 3rd down and 4 versus 3rd down and 12. Those things matter. And so, again, is it running the ball more on 1st down? Is it using more lateral movement, jet sweep action, things like that? Any team that's getting into 3rd and long consistently is going to struggle getting it to their superstar receivers. Just tough to do that in this league.
Yeah. Brad Law joins us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. Brad, even though there's been a few disappointing losses, even from the start of the year, it's still, to this day, it still feels right. I think Hugh Freeze is the right coach for Auburn. There's been a lot of bumps in the road the last many years. I still think it feels good. And I think Auburn fans still feel good about the program this year, the quarterback play, and the head coach. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you look at the trajectory of where you're going and where you're starting from, and the number one thing that this staff needed to do when it came in 3 years ago was advance the roster, advance the personnel, the talent level, and they've done that unquestionably. And now the next step is to go from being close in these games to winning these games. I think that's the feeling of the fan base. They are close. We know that, obviously, because we've talked about these last 2 games. but to take that next step. And this Georgia game is a great opportunity to do that. They're retiring Cam Newton's jersey next Saturday. It's going to be an all-time atmosphere at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and you get a top 15 team in Georgia coming in. A win in this game next Saturday will do a lot toward the momentum, the positive momentum for the second half of the schedule. It's a big one coming up next week for that very reason.
Brad, you talked about, okay, you've got 2 games coming up on campus. What is a game day tradition that kind of gets in your way as you're trying to prep for your game?
That gets in the way?
Yeah, one that gets in the way and one that you do love, you try not to miss.
There's none that get in the way. I love every single one of them, and yeah, no, we love every single one. Love the Tiger Walk. Wish I could, we don't see the Tiger Walk because we're doing our broadcast pregame show at the time that's taking place. The Eagle Flight, now we're in our seats for the Eagle Flight, and, it's been 25 years since that started, and that never fails. Your hair stands up on end just a little bit every single time the Eagle takes flight and soars around the stands before swooping into the 50-yard line. So that's probably a favorite.
Brad, let me ask you this. The schedule coming up, you've got a bit of a brutal schedule with Georgia coming to town, and then the following week it's Missouri. Missouri, yes. Yeah. 2 ranked opponents coming in. The change in the program, the feeling of the program, certainly if you could get these 2 wins, I think it changes the entire year for Auburn football.
Even just having them at home is very different from the last 2 games that Auburn played. But, I'll add this. In this league, you don't really run from any schedule difficulty because you're always going to have ranked teams on the schedule. The league's adding a 9th game next year, so there's going to be more. All that's going to do is increase the difficulty of your schedule, but that's life. You come to Auburn to compete. You come to Auburn to play against good teams, and it doesn't matter who you play, when you play, where you play. You're going to play good teams. And again, that's the expectation at Auburn is that you play and beat good teams.
Well, Brad, you were there back when the tumor cornered trees talking about traditions when they got updiked or poisoned. How has that tradition changed, and how often do you get to make it? Will you get to make it there over the next 2 weeks if there's a W?
I typically don't get to make it during football season because our broadcast is going for about an hour and a half after the game. And, of course, at that point, you finished about a 10-hour broadcast day and you're ready to go home. So I've not been. Now, what I love is the day after the game. A Sunday morning drive through downtown Auburn with those trees completely buried in toilet paper is a beautiful, beautiful sight. And we hope to get to see that in 8 days. I'll absolutely make the trip after wins over Georgia and Missouri if Auburn is able to earn those.
War Eagle.
Brad, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us on the program this morning, and look forward to an incredible football season. Enjoy your weekend off, and we'll talk to you soon. War Eagle, my friend.
War Eagle, always a pleasure. Hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Brad Law. All right, we're coming right back. You're watching the Saturday Morning Sports Split right here.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/act now.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in. Great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, He took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide, because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Good morning and welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. I'm Randy, along with Clifford and Coach Ryan
Anka.
Anka,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yeah.
I have difficult
Right
time with
on
your name.
time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right on time.
All right, big game this weekend, out of the top 25, but certainly important to our area, and that is, of course, South Alabama. The Jags heading up to Troy to take on the T. Roy Trojans.
Yep,
So that'll be an exciting game. It's always good. It's a rivalry.
Yeah, it is. They play for the battle for the belt. You know, they are on I-65, so they've kind of made a championship wrestling style belt that they battle for. And I was part of the first team that beat Troy in South's history, so it's a special place for me. And I got South by 1 million, so that's my
by
pick.
$1 million. Now, it's only 2.5.
Yeah,
and that might take the over then too, which is only 47.5, a long way from that.
Well, we know the Petrino boys are famous
Yeah.
for their offense, but $1 million, that'd be a record there. So we'll see what happens.
That's at 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. It's a 1.5-point favorite for Troy. Of course, they play in used to be Movie Gallery Stadium. I don't know if kids don't even know what Movie Gallery is, but anyway, it's I think it's Veteran Memorial Stadium
Yes,
now.
it is now.
It is.
Yeah. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors, especially Damien's Frozen Lemonade at the Drop-In. If you'd like to participate in supporting this show and advertise with us, feel free to give Randy a call anytime after midnight. Okay, it looks like we have a caller on.
Yeah, we got a caller on the line. They want to talk a little bit about some stuff that's going on today.
He got some upsets. It's Big Al. How you doing, Alan?
Hey guys, great. How are you doing?
We're good.
Great.
Wonderful. Yeah, enjoy the show.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
First I want to shout out to University of West Alabama, my school I played football at, undefeated. When I went there, it was Livingston University, but go Tigers. All right, now we got that out of the way. Here's my shocking picks for today. Florida gets it together, beats Texas. Vandy rolls into Tuscaloosa, upsets Bama, and Boise State beats the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
There
we go.
Lock it. You heard it here first.
I don't think any of those really would be a huge surprise. It would certainly be shocking to the losing
Everybody's
teams.
thrilled.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll let you talk about it. I enjoy the show.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alan.
Well, let's dive into some of these games. Why don't we start with in my opinion, the biggest game of the weekend, and that's Miami at FSU. I mean, it's a nighttime game. Kickoff's at 6:30 tonight
on ABC.
So, it's going to be a game. I think the loss at Virginia probably has fired up not only FSU but of course their fan base as well. And I think they're going to come ready to play tonight. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, you're going to see what Florida State's made of. How do they respond? An overtime loss like that takes a lot out of a team, or it galvanizes a team. So we're going to see what Florida State is really, I think, this week. But I still think Miami wins.
X factor, I think, is going to be that offensive line. You've got Akeem Messidor at defensive end with Ruben Bain. They're fast and they're long. I don't know offensive line for Florida State. They tried to develop some 6 or 7 deep. Jonathan Daniels from Pine Forest is going to be a big key in that tonight if Florida State can withstand the Hurricanes.
All right, so give me your pick. Who wins tonight?
I think Florida State's going to cover. I think Miami's going to win the game.
Okay. Yeah, and I got Miami.
I'm picking Miami as well.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We all picked the Canes.
Next game up, Florida, Texas. Texas goes into the swamp. It's going to be a real big challenge, I think, for Texas and able to overcome the noise in the swamp.
Yeah,
Coach.
yeah. As much as I think Florida has a shot, I still think Texas has a little bit too much. You know, you could go pick them because it's at home for Florida, but I think Texas still will find a way to overcome there.
And Big Al went with the Gators in the upset. I'd like to go with them. I think they're going to cover with getting the 6.5, but I think Texas is going to pull it out. Their defense is too stout.
I think I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
I think Florida pulls one out. I think there's a lot of pressure on Billy Napier. He knows there's a lot of pressure. The team knows there's a lot of pressure. And I think being at home, the fan base is going to be fired up. I'm going to go with Florida for the upset.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's go Alabama and Vandy. We got about 2.5 minutes.
Right.
I like Vanderbilt. I like Pavia. He is, 30? He shaves 3 times a day. He's a 7-year player. I'm going with Vanderbilt in the upset in Tuscaloosa.
Coach?
Yeah, I think Alabama handles it easily. I know it could be a tight game, but I believe with what Alabama's doing right now, and I think they win by a couple scores.
I think if the game was either on a neutral field or if it was at Vandy, I'd say Vandy's got a shot, but I think with the home field advantage, Alabama pulls it out.
Let's fly through the rest of our schedule real fast. Oklahoma now without Heisman candidate John Mateer, 45.5-point favorites. I think Kent State is going to cover. Texas A&M hosting Mississippi State.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going with A&M.
I'm gonna go with the upset, Mississippi State. You know, they're overachieving right now, but I think they're used to a loud environment, right? They got the cowbells in Mississippi State, so I don't think they'll be bothered by the 12th man, and I think they'll be good.
See if Bully can bully up on them. Man, at 14.5 points, that's a lot. Let's see if Mississippi State can do it. I'll go with you.
There you
But
go.
this next game, I think, is going to be a fun game to watch. Texas Tech and Houston, they're both undefeated. This should be a really, really, really good game.
Texas Tech is the class of the Pac-12 after they did that thumping to Utah, at Utah.
Yeah, they're the Arizona State of this year. You know, look at last year, they're that surprising team. You know, they got a lot of money there, a lot of NIL money and stuff, and it's kind of showing up this year. So we'll see what, the Red Raiders got going.
Big winners in the OL and the DL and the transfer portal, and they've got top 20 scoring offense and defense.
Yep.
Texas Tech, what's next?
I'm going Texas Tech as well.
Iowa State, 5-0 at Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 1.5. It's kind of a toss-up.
Scott Satterfield, the head coach of Cincinnati, was on the hot seat early on in the year, but I think he's kind of redeemed himself, so we shall see what happens. The game is in Cincinnati. So
I'm going with the Cyclones.
Okay, fantastic. Notre Dame and Boise. Clifford?
Boise State only with that one loss to South Florida. Boise State has been putting up some points. Great matchup. The Irish are going to exploit the run game. Broncos will attack their Notre Dame's passing. I think Boise State might pull it off.
All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks for watching the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We'll be back next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. We look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.